No Doubter Nation, good evening. It is Wednesday, May 25th, 2022. We are bringing you our weekly Major League Baseball recap a day later than usual. As you've probably, whether you saw on Twitter yesterday or just whether you've seen it or not, you probably understand is why we are doing it a day later. We love this game of baseball. We love the enjoyment and that it brings to our lives, everything. But there are things much bigger than baseball that happen in life. And in the wake of the tragic events in Uvalde, Texas, yesterday, we just needed a moment to regroup, to just kind of respect the room and take a little bit of time off here, and then come back a little later to be able to do this here. Um, Certainly, yeah, there just are not enough words in the world to express what we're ultimately feeling, just the profound sadness of the tragic events that happened yesterday. But we're back today. We're going to start pressing on. We're going to dig back into the game that we love, and we're going to bring joy to everyone and through our love through the game of baseball here at No Doubter. So let's get into it, folks. I'm Travis T-Bone Lawfully, like always, with my co-host Barrett Boom Bostic. And yeah, it's another week in Major League Baseball.
Another week in Major League Baseball. We're getting to kind of like the fourth point through this series, through it. And really, you're starting to see some differentials, but there are still some tight races to be had. And at this point, anything can happen. So it's just a lot of players standing out, a lot of teams really standing out. It's just there are several tiers which we will definitely dissect. So we're going to go through the whole spiel and more. Before we get too into it, again, just heavy hearts for the people of Uvalde, Texas. You're in our thoughts, you're in our prayers. I got little ones myself, and trust me, when you have a little kid, it hits home a lot more than you ever could have imagined. So, hearts for you guys. You're going to continue to be in my thoughts and prayers, and just heavy on my heart. So, just hope that y'all are feeling love tonight, because y'all need a lot of it, and hope that resources are pouring your way. So we'll be thinking about y'all for sure in the many weeks and years to come. So, but we're gonna kind of hop into it and start off with our no doubter of the week. We gotta give it's time, Travis, that we give some love to CJ Crone. Who is this CJ Crone? Well, I'll tell you who he is. CJ Crone plays for the Colorado Rockies, and he is currently second in home runs in all of Major League Baseball. Granted, Aaron Judge has 17, and Aaron Judge he's really going off this year. I got to commend Judge, but CJ Crone has been raking, absolutely raking. And he just continues to hit bombs on a regular basis. And this past week, he just hit a homer that, the eye test is just great. So let's kind of go ahead and show him some love. This particular homer took place on the 18th. Now, granted, it isn't Coors, and the balls fly well at Coors, but this one, I mean, he just smacked the crap out of it. So let me go ahead and pull it up on the screen here. If y'all are watching, you're able to see it. If you're just listening to this on Apple Podcasts or whatever, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can actually see the homers. So there you go. That's a good way to experience it. So facing up against the Giants, we're in the bottom of the 8th. It's a 3-1 count, and CJ Crone, Mr. Master himself, just boom. I mean, it made it look so effortless. It goes all the way to the back. A very short clip there, but if you couldn't tell, he just mashed that.
That was like a missile. Like it just shot straight back. It wasn't one of those, like it really had a high trajectory and arc, and then carried and dropped kind of at the last second. It just it was just a nice kind of parabolic trajectory of an arc over over the park there. into the outfield bleachers.
Oh
That
yeah,
was a beauty.
yeah, an absolute no doubter. 454 feet, 111.4 miles per hour off the bat with a 27-degree launch angle. CJ Crone, you are our no doubter of the week. We haven't had any repeat no doubters of the week so far. Now, granted, this is all subjective. There is no science to it, so there's
We
bound to be.
literally just engage our biases and whatever looks cool.
Yes,
We
that is
pick
the
it for
whole
the
point.
week. So yeah, it's
Exactly.
a
That
very
is the
scientific model we're using.
I know. Yeah, that's the point. But, I mean, it is cool and that it's been a different person every single week. But we're not married to it. There could be a two-time no doubt of the week, and we'll let y'all know when that happens. So, but at least for this week, congratulations, CJ Crone. Keep on mashing it up in Denver, Mile High Stadium. So, before we get into the recaps, we're gonna kind of start off with a lighter general topic. Uh, this is the St. Louis Cardinals. They have taken position players pitching to a new level, or they have reimagined it. Instead of a white flag position pitchers, they are using it as a victory lap, kind of like an insult. And the other day, they were up 18-0 against the Pirates. It's like a football score. I mean, 18-0 in baseball, there ain't no way you're doing it. I don't care who you are, it's pretty much done. So in the top of the ninth, because I think they were playing no, it was in the bottom of the ninth because they were playing in Pittsburgh. Who else? At first, it was Albert Pujols, and now we have the exiting veteran Yadier Molina. It's their second position player to go out this year, prominent position player, shall I say. Just like with Pujols, the Pirates did score 4 runs very quickly on Molina. It's funny how they get an easy 4, but he pitched an entire inning, and he got him out of a jam. So the Cardinals still won 18-4. Trav, what are your thoughts on this whole position player victory lap thing that they're doing?
I just like, are there any resources you found that there's like why they're doing like what are the Cardinals just goofing around right now? Do they know like, hey, we the hey, we're kind of in a joke of a division, and like it's not going to take much for us to really keep our head above water and be in there for a wild card spot come the fall. And they're just like, oh, we've got all this firepower here offensively, so we're just gonna screw around, especially when we play the really bad teams that just like I don't know, start showboating a little bit and putting in their face. I don't know. It's weird. It's like I feel, especially for this to come out of the Cardinals, I feel like the Cardinals are not like they're not a strict kind of like rules of engagement and baseball rules and rules kind of team in franchise historically. I feel like they're like a very kind of classic baseball minded. Like, yeah, Cardinals fans don't go to games to see antics and hijinks and stuff like that. Like, there's a form of baseball purity and just like genuine love of the game, like whatever it throws at, whether it's a pitcher's duel, whether it's small ball, whether it's power, whatever it is that Cardinals fans openly embrace just out of a sheer love for the game and understand that that's how baseball works. This whole, we're going to throw lineup guys out there into the rotation and relief as there is, I just don't know. I need to, I gotta look into more, see if anybody's spilling the beans as to why this is happening this way right now. But it's odd. Very odd behavior.
I absolutely love it. I am 100% for it. If you look at the two things, they had insurmountable leads. And so it's like double-digit leads. So it's like, why not? In the case of Pujols, that was in St. Louis. So you're giving your home crowd a show. Chubby Albert Pujols, 45 years old, something like that. I don't know.
Pujols is actually very fit. He just rocks the 90s Major League Baseball uniform of like being like very loose with like the most like
True.
baggiest bootcut pants that you can you can wear. So it just the dude
Yeah.
looks like he's got about 50 to 100 pounds more than he actually packs. But guy's actually pretty cut and chiseled.
Yeah, but then you got Yadier Molina, who's also a little stocky, to put it mildly. But again, I absolutely love it. So I hope this does set a precedent, and here's why. If you happen to go to a game where your home team, you're going and seeing a home team, your team's just beating the crap out of the other team, 10-0. Ninth inning comes around, don't put in your star closer Josh Hader. He's wasting his time doing that. Put in a position player. Worst case scenario, they give up like 5 runs. You could be like, okay, we're cutting it off, but at least try, because again, you were talking about the old school mindset, but again, we have to entertain people. We've talked about the Savannah Bananas so much. That is all entertainment. Just give a little dose of it, just a tiny bit in an actual major league game. Do it. I love it. Victory laughs and just absolutely rub it in. I love it. And plus, I mean, the team's having fun. They're doing well this year. So go for it. I'm all for it. Screw the unwritten rules. Do it. There
Hey,
you
got
go.
Don Hale giving me a birthday shout out. Appreciate it, Don.
Yep. What are you? 29?
29. Yes. The last
Oh,
year of the 20s is upon me. But honestly, I feel happier and healthier at this point in my 20s than I have at any previous points now.
there you go.
And I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like when 30 hits, when the early 30s hit, it's really just going to kind of feel like a number at this point in life right now. So,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, no, 29 has been a good start so far.
Enjoy it while you can. The 30s will come. They'll slap you across the face. So, yeah, I know. Yeah, Don. I know you don't remember being 29. I mean, it's a long time for you. But no, I'm just kidding. Thank you to our Patreon producer John Hale for chipping in. Thank you for making this show possible, Don. But yeah, enjoy. You're in your 20s. I'm in my 30s. Every stage of life has its different things. But no, yes, Yadier Molina. I absolutely love it. I just think it's awesome. Make
Yeah.
baseball fun.
Those
And
position guys got to be good with they probably have pitchers that are pretty conducive to ground outs too. So just get like one of those like slow moving like sinkers that like drops at the last second that fools that fools the batter. Get a ground out there, maybe turn into a nice 6-4-3 double play, and you're
yes, exactly. A lot of people can't hit eephus pitches. They're not used to seeing it. It's just, I mean,
it's all depth perception when you're there at the
yeah,
plate.
it throws them off. I mean, those like 50-mile-an-hour hangers. I mean, they're harder than you think. I don't care who's on the mound. I'd look incredibly silly. 50 or 90. I mean, I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. So, uh, you know, but do it, do it, do it, do it. Brett Phillips does it in the white flag. Well, Cardinals, I hope I see more of this because yeah. And now, before we get into the recaps, we got to touch on a slightly heavier topic. Really, the only way I can do this is I'm just going to read straight from the article. Uh, Earlier this week, Josh Donaldson was suspended and actually fined by Major League Baseball for disrespectful comment towards Tim Anderson. I'm just going to start reading and we're going to unpack it. So, Major League Baseball fined and suspended New York Yankees third baseman Josh Donaldson for 1 game after remarks he made on Saturday towards White Sox shortstop Tim Anderson. It led to a benches clearing spat. Donaldson, who was placed on the COVID-19 injured list, will appeal the suspension. By his own admission, he addressed Anderson as Jackie during an interaction. Of course, Jackie refers to Jackie Robinson. Jack Robinson, the famous guy who broke the color barrier. Everybody knows who he is. And Anderson and his White Sox teammates took exception to it. So this took place in like the third inning of the game. No, it was in third inning. And then in the fifth inning, Yasmani Grandal, the catcher, had an altercation with Anderson. But there were no ejections. The two teams just cleared the benches and they had a dispute. So, Donaldson claimed that calling Anderson Jackie was part of a long running inside joke between the players, and that it stemmed from a 2019 Sports Illustrated article in which Anderson was quoted as saying the following. Anderson said this in 2019. I kind of feel like today's Jackie Robinson. That's huge to say, but it's cool, man, because he changed the game, and I feel like I'm getting to a point where I need to change the game. End quote. This is all stuff that Tim Anderson said back in 2019. So Donaldson, referring to that, he just called him Jackie. I mean, we don't have any audio of it, but apparently it happened. It's important to contextualize Anderson's quote, which comes midway through the article, and that is framed around the isolation he feels as a black man playing a sport largely played, managed, and governed by white men, et cetera, et cetera. Moving on, so White Sox closer Liam Hendriks said that's completely inappropriate. And then after hearing what was said after the game, usually you have inside jokes with people you get along with, not people that you don't get along with at all. Just hopping off the article, Donaldson has had altercations with players before. Look at Garrett Cole. He backtalked Garrett Cole when Garrett Cole was basically all but saying using spider tack. So Donaldson is one of these guys who is not. He is one who is very easy to just kind of get little jabs at opposing players on opposing teams. He has a track record of this, and I don't know. It's. Do you
It
have
comes
any thoughts on it?
It comes. I mean, the context of what's described here ultimately feels like what Donaldson did was just open kind of mockery of
Yeah.
of Anderson here, and the whole attitude comes across like considering that in the putting it in context with the history that he had with someone like Garrett Cole, but like hey, like all things are good in that regard now, is that he kind of I'm guessing Donaldson has built kind of this it seems like that he's built maybe a bit this reputation of being like a clubhouse bully a little bit, and
Yeah.
and people just kind of fall in line behind him. Like that's the unspoken rule of how it is around him, because of his persona. And you don't the guy can't really be corrected. That's just kind of like
Mhm.
accepted that that's the persona of who he is, and things just fall in line that way. Yeah, I mean it's cheap. It's a low blow. I think it's a bad look in 2022
Yeah.
to be making statements like that in that kind of context. And yeah, being a white guy like aiming that towards a black player, like yeah, it's not a good look all around. And yeah, I hope there continue to be people, that just listen intently, read between the lines, and correct on these things where they are. Because I mean, whether something turns into like full blown all out racism, or it is this sort of kind of like bullying and that kind of behavior and stuff like that, people should speak up and identify it where it is, and ultimately set things straight, as that's not going to be tolerated within the culture.
Yeah, it's just I like Liam Hendricks' quote where it's just like typically you have again, you have inside jokes with teammates, not you don't do it with like opposing players. And really everybody's viewpoint on it is irrelevant. The fact is that Anderson did not like it in that moment. It was for all intents and purposes probably meant as kind of a not, lighthearted and a shared, inside joke, but it's meant to be derogatory. And it's just, I mean, what are we doing, man? I know, I mean, sticks and stones break my bones, words never hurt me kind of crowd, but it's just like, still, I mean, it's just Donaldson. If anything, what he said backfired because Tim Anderson, despite the boos of the Yankee fans were chanting Jackie towards him, which that's probably even worse because it's more despicable. They're openly doing it. But Tim Anderson actually went off and he just hit some multiple bombs against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. So it backfired, Donaldson. Way to go. Way to go. I mean, I know you guys have the best record in baseball, but still, you lost.
This success this year, I think, has started to get to some of these Yankees fans. I think you're seeing kind of like you're seeing like a new generation of Yankees fans kind of like rise up here, like like the younger
Yeah.
guys living in the city. That's like, yeah, they've been there or like up around the region all their life. Now there's like guys
Mhm.
that are into like their 20s or 30s, but they didn't, like the past couple of decades, they for the most part have not experienced a dominant Yankees franchise. One kind of playing at this level that you're seeing this year. And so you're seeing that there was a run in a few weeks back that the fans had with the Guardians there
Mhm. Yep.
when they were in town, over in the outfield area there where a lot of the hijinks and shenanigans go down at Yankee Stadium. And it yeah, I think it's you combine that on top of it's kind of become this culture within sports that has really come out in the last few years. This whole idea of I bought a ticket so I can act an absolute fool if I want to at games. Just kind of this I
Yeah.
paid money to be here, so therefore it's like my seats is my real estate. Where like literally any sort of attitude, language, behavior goes, like just short
Yeah.
of out assaulting someone. Like that's it's yeah, it's just it's just a super crass way to behave and just you're making a fool of yourself. Move on, guys. It's a game. Be passionate, be loud, be engaging as a fan of your team and as a fan of the game. But taking it to some of these extents here, it's like you're just trying to people are trying to flex, people are trying to get get their 10 minutes of fame popping up on people's Instagram stories and TikToks and all that. And so
Mhm.
it's ridiculous. It's a clear trend that we can see unfolding here within sports, and I hate it personally.
Yeah, you absolutely can. I mean, they don't represent all Yankees fans, but there's clearly some bad apples amongst the fan base, and they need to be addressed. It has to be addressed from within, and it needs to be addressed loud and clear. There has to be rules. I mean, yeah, I don't know what whoever owns the Yankee Stadium, the owner. I don't know what he needs
I
to
don't know if it's
do,
the
but
Steinbrenner family that
no,
also
yeah,
holds ownership of Yankee Stadium.
yeah. Hal Steinbrenner. Uh, it's just I don't know, but I mean, it might just also be Northeast culture, but I just I just don't agree with it. It's not respectable. I mean, yeah, you can say whatever you want, but it doesn't mean that you know it's going to be respectable. It says I know there's a lot of good Yankee fans out there. It's not representative of them all, so always got to add that in. But yeah, it's just when they're riding high on that Yankee wave, they're gonna find an extra excuse to just be on their high horse. And speaking of that, let's talk about the AL East, Trav. How about you kind of give us the rundown?
Absolutely. So yeah, it's AL East is
Yeah,
shaping up. Once again, it's kind of tightening up. I mean, it's dominated by the Yankees right now, but
yeah.
there's some good competitive baseball elsewhere across this division right now. And
Mm-hmm.
we kind of got to preface it by some of the schedules that some of these teams are playing. So yeah, let's talk about in that regard that the Yankees, the Rays, and the Blue Jays, all three are above 500 right now. Yankees have won nearly 70% of their games right now, 30-13 on the year. Rays 23-17, and Blue Jays 23-20 right now. All three teams have gone 6-4 in their last 10 games. But yeah, then you have to also take a look at like who these teams are playing right now. So yeah, the Yankees have had a couple of series with both the White Sox and the Orioles now over the past week or so. The Rays have had in the middle of a series right now with the Marlins. They played the Orioles, the Tigers. They did come out with a series win over the Blue Jays about a week or so ago. The Blue Jays, again,
Mm.
about to start a series with with the Angels. Just finished up a couple of short little 2-game stint with the Cardinals. Played the Reds, they played the Mariners at the race. I mean, there've been some good interconference, interdivision matchups here within the Blue Jays. The Red Sox, played the Mariners, the Astros, the Rangers lately. So yeah, a couple of I mean, you can see here just the trend of there's some good teams that these teams have been in, but also just they're kind of in a period where they're not really going through the gauntlet right now
Yeah.
to put it honestly here with these teams. But yeah, still you've got it continues to be the Aaron Judge show here on the offense
Yeah.
side of things. Nestor Cortez continues to be putting together the dream season as a pitcher there up in the Bronx. Yeah, you've got Jose Trevino had a nice walk-off single in the 11th and extras the other day over the Baltimore Orioles. Man, the Orioles got like their first win in ages over the Yankees. I think the other day as well too. I forget like what sort of streak it was that they broke over with that. But yeah, the Yankees just continue to do Yankees things. We've talked a lot about them. So moving on to the Rays here. Yandy Diaz right now, the first baseman, is putting together a great season, slashing 282, 400, and 385. Kevin Kiermaier, the center fielder right now, has 6 home runs on the year. His batting average right now is sitting at 255, and he has 14 runs batted in. Manuel Margot continues to be the RBI king right now for this franchise this season with 21 on the year. He's got a nice complimentary line of 348 batting average and 3 home runs to go with it as well. Pitching continues to be the Shane McClanahan show, as we've talked about recently. Kiermaier got a not really nice inside the park home run over the Marlins yesterday in their 4-0 win.
Yeah, I think it's a lot.
It was pretty sick. The Blue Jays right now, Blue Jays hopefully maybe starting to see some things turn around here. There were really big expectations for this franchise heading into the year. They just haven't really lived up to at this point. We saw Danny Jansen get a couple of nice, really ginormous home runs over the Cardinals the other night in their victory over them. You've got Lourdes Gurriel Jr. right now, the left fielder, slashing 225, 273, 326. Zach Collins, the catcher, has 3 home runs on the year, batting 194. So looking to see improvement from him, certainly in that regard, even for a catcher. 9 runs batted in as well, complementing his game. Gurriel also has 12 runs batted in on the year as well. Pitching wise, the former West Virginia Mountaineer himself, Alek Manoah, has just been an absolute stud this year for this franchise. And certainly, they could use it. You could use it out him because there are absolutely to this point still 0 quality starts out of here. Like it really is kind of a struggle beyond the starters here, especially beyond Manoah. But Manoah has been a really good sign for him this year. 162 ERA. 5 wins credited to him, 43 strikeouts on the year. Just really good with him. A lot of close baseball. We'll give a quick shout out here to the Red Sox. Who knows if they're really starting to put this together, if this is just kind of having the benefits of a couple of teams like the Mariners and the Rangers in there to pad it up, and playing the White Sox, who they blew out 16-3 the other day. Goodness, the White Sox just continue to be a disaster. I'm not even really going to talk about the White Sox tonight when I get to them. That's how bad they're playing right now.
Oh, man. Well, hey, the Red Sox are a 6-game win streak.
Yeah, Red Sox are on that 6-game win streak right now. Christian Arroyo, the shortstop. He's kind of one of the few bright spots here in terms of this batting rotation. Really, the only one right now. I mean, it's so bad offensive wise for this team kind of right now. His home runs, his 2 home runs on the year, and 5 runs batted in are kind of making notable stat lines for this team. Pitching wise, the best pitching is from Nathan Eovaldi. 4.10 ERA. Goodness gracious. Though he has 53 strikeouts that are helping them out along the way. Pitching also tied for 19th there in all of Major League Baseball with 0 quality starts. So once you get beyond the starters, the Red Sox don't even have the benefit of someone like an Alek Manoah. It's just it's very much looking like a rebuilding year for this franchise. But there's some good competitive baseball to be seen along the way, and I think it certainly bolsters the I feel like the seriousness and like the stock that I put in any of these teams that ultimately make the pennant races come October. because they will have gone through a tough schedule in that division that they're playing. And the American League, a lot of great baseball overall right now. This is the Yankees show, but there's some good signs of life, that we're seeing from the Rays and the Blue Jays as well.
Oh yeah, the Rays. I I need to stop counting them out. I mean, they're it. I mean, they are one of the best. I say this every episode. It seems like they're one of the best run organizations in not just baseball but sports. Period. Just that they need to figure out what the heck they're doing.
Yeah. They may be kind of streaky at times, but they win when it matters the most.
Yes,
And
that's what matters.
Yeah.
It's getting the win. I don't care how sexy your roster is. Get the wins, and they do what they do to win. Kevin Cash is one of the best managers in baseball. His lineup is just drastically switching every single day. It's just like no lineup is the same. They don't have like a standard lineup. They're just you look at their lineups and it's like, what the heck are you doing? Well, they do it for a reason. It's just love to see it. Just keep rooting for the Blue Jays just because I picked them to win the whole thing. But still a long ways to go. They're not out yet. They can dial in on their pitching, which it's not terrible. But they have all the potential in the world. But ultimately, if you can't execute, then what are you doing? So Yankees. But now we going over to the NL East, and it's another team all the way down in Queens, the New York Mets. It's the Mets show. They have taken over the NL East. Is it all too early, too late? Are the Mets gonna Met? Only time will tell. But for now, they are the team. They are just the team with so many weapons. Pete Alonso, for crying out loud, 11 bombs this year. He just makes bombs in the home run derby and in the regular season, apparently. He's slashing 275, 340, 500 slugging. I mean, holy crap. 840 OPS. Francisco Lindor, it's his comeback tour, everybody. 8 home runs, slashing 250, 337, 443, 780 OPS. These are great numbers, guys. Starling Marte is 713 OPS. Brandon Nimmo, for crying out loud, 836 OPS. Jeff McNeil, it's his comeback tour, 829 OPS. No matter which way you slice it, you have all-stars on this team that is so much firepower, so many guys with impressive wins above replacement on the offensive end. They just know how to do it. They have scored a ton of runs, and in fact, it's the second most in all of baseball. The only team that's better is the Dodgers, and the Dodgers lineup is stacked. But the Mets, they're in that echelons, and I know that Scherzer's gone, at least for now. I mean, it's a bummer. 6 to 8 weeks. And I know that DeGrom, he's wanting to come back. But the pitching, it keeps him in. Taijuan Walker, 270 ERA. You got Carlos Carrasco, 350. Not too shabby. Trevor Williams, 437. It's just, they have breathing room. They can afford to wait. In my opinion, it's not going to, go upside down. I might be eating those words, but I believe in this team. There's something different about it. It's not like last year. There's something different about this Mets team. They're having fun. Their roster additions are adding to it. Escobar, Marte, they're fitting in like a glove on this Mets team. And you just absolutely love it. The fan base loves it. Everyone's having fun. And just like the Cardinals are proving, when you're having fun, it means you're doing good. So good job to you, Mets. Phillies and Braves, 7.5 games back. I'm disappointed in the Braves. Again, they're another World Series team. So what have we learned? Is my World Series teams not so good. I wanted to be cool, but I should have just picked Dodgers, Yankees, I guess, because I guess that's what's going to happen. Everybody wants it. This might just be the year where we finally get it, but I don't know. But yeah, it's just 7.5 game lead. The Mets have the breathing room. The Marlins, you expect them to not amount to anything. Well, wrong. They're 8.5 games back. Yes. So they're still back. But the player of the week for the National League was Sandy Alcantara. Let me tell you how he did. He pitched a complete game against the Braves on Sunday, giving up 6 hits and 3 runs. And then on the 16th, he went 8 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 3 hits. Overall, his ERA for the week was 0.53 over 17 innings pitched with an opposing batting average of 150. I mean, when you're going deep in the games, you're giving your team the best chance to win. So congrats to you, Sandy Alcantara. Player of the week for the National League. Their 1-2 punch is honestly one of the best in baseball. Sandy Alcantara, 2.11 ERA. Pablo Lopez, one of the front runners for the NL Cy Young, 0.96 WHIP, 2.04 ERA. He's got a 9.5 K per 9, 2.1 wins above replacement. I mean, I don't care who the rest are. When you have a 1-2 punch like that, it can override a lot of things. Well, maybe not, make up for the lack of an offense, but still, it's when those guys are on the mound, you're in good hands. So, but NL East is still Mets first now.
There we go. And so we're going to take this, start making our way out west now.
Yes.
To making a stop in America's heartland.
Yes.
And talking about the AL Central, like I said, I just don't get, sorry, White Sox, you just continue to sit right there as plain Jane at at 21-21 on the year, straight 500 right now, with negative 35 run differential, exactly 5-5 in your last 10 games. Start showing me something to care about right now. Because Guardians, Tigers, Royals, anybody else, sorry, you've got work to do here because it is all Minnesota Twins all day, air day. So once again, the Twins kind of have the benefit of the schedule right now. They are A-2 in their last 10 games. They've had series wins lately, and including a sweep over the Royals. And those series wins include teams like the Tigers, the A's, the Guardians. So it's they have a benefit of the schedule right now, and just the fact that there's not a lot of strong play within their division overall. Pitching has kind of been an adventure here in terms of injuries to this staff here. Sonny Gray did get 7 shutout innings in a win over the Tigers the other day, which is really good for him. They're rookie starting pitcher right now. Joe Ryan is unfortunately on the COVID-19 IL at the moment right now. You've got offense definitely is kind of more where the strength is with this team overall, and more in terms of like the consistency and the balance of all things. Luis Arias, the second baseman, slashing 347, 446, 415 right now. Byron Buxton has 11 home runs on the year and also 21 runs batted in. Jorge Polanco, the shortstop, has 24 runs batted in on the year and a 232 batting average to go with it. There's the Twins are kind of playing almost that White Sox kind of role in this division from last year in terms of like what they're bringing to the table all around. Not as flashy as probably what the White Sox are bringing, but just like, efficient, getting the job done, figuring out how to make things work. Injuries, guys stepping up when those injuries are happening. So it's it continues to be fun baseball times right now in the Twin Cities. Up in Minnesota. So the Twins until they show me otherwise, the Twins are emerging. I'm becoming a believer in them, and they're emerging, I think, kind of as a clear-cut favorite here in the AL Central.
It's not too late for the White Sox. I might be giving them way too much credit. Tony La Russa, man, it's time for him to go.
the game has progressed beyond you. I'm sorry, sir. Thank you for your years of service to the game, but it's
you and your 2,500 wins or something like that. You've done your time, man. What are you doing? Just retire and go chill on a beach somewhere. Seriously, I think a new progressive kind of manager would really work well with the personalities on the White Sox team. Think of Tim Anderson. That guy's got all the personality in the world. Maurice Robert, for crying out loud. I mean, but it's up to the owner. It's up to the GM and the owner. I mean, they can do whatever they want, but it's underwhelming for sure. This was theirs, but the Twins are going to twin, and I don't know. Maybe it is the Correa effect, but you never know. It takes its whole team. It's not just one person. So anyway, moving to the NL Central, the Brewers are settling in, as opposed to the White Sox. The Central was supposed to be theirs, but in the National League, they are now. It is more conventional, as everyone expected. Everyone picked the Brewers, and it's becoming the Brewers. They have won 7 out of their last 10 games. They have an outstanding plus 35 run differential. They are just firing on all cylinders. Everything's working out for them. They're playing more as a team. They got all the firepower in the world when it comes to batting. Hunter Renfroe, 807 OPS. Willie Adames, an excellent addition on their team. 9 bombs, 1.1 wins above replacement, 766 OPS. Christian Yelich, 5 bombs on the year. He's got a 726 OPS. These are all fantastic numbers, and really, they make it happen. Their run scored is not as good as the Cardinals, but they have an equally impressive pitching staff that really keeps them in. But they're getting the wins when they need them. Corbin Burns, it's between him and Lopez really for that National League Cy Young. He's a workhorse. He's got a 2.18 ERA, 0.87 WHIP, which is extremely impressive. He is dialing in. Eric Lauer, 2.16 ERA. Arian Hoser, 2.98 ERA. My goodness. Brandon Woodruff, that last year was probably a fluke because this guy, 4.76 ERA, that's not going to cut it. We need you to be the Brandon Woodruff just like last year. So I don't know. This guy's got to work on his mechanics, but he's got to work on his mechanics. The other starters have got to go deep. It can't just be Burns. Burns is going 57 innings, which is great, but I want to see the other starters start to go deeper. Josh Hader is still going to be Josh Hader. He has not given up any runs. I say this every single week, and I'm going to keep pointing it out until it happens. When you have a closer like Josh Hader, I'm telling you, the bases could be loaded. Put in Josh Hader, he's going to get the job done. This guy, oh my goodness, it's incredible. He's only given up 2 hits. 2 hits. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. I could talk about it for a whole podcast. It's just, he's on another level and just really, he could win the Cy Young for all you care. He is that good. So, Bruce, so you got a lot of things going for you. Let's talk about the Cardinals. The Cardinals, they're a fun team, as we established earlier in this podcast. Trav was very high on them, and you know what? I think he's got a lot of reason to be. They have a plus 42 run differential. They're only three and a half games back from the Brewers, and really, they have a lot to be exciting about. Offense, the numbers don't scream excellence, but yet they get the job done. They're not matching a lot of bombs. Pujols has got 4, and he's leading the team. Hasn't played in as many games as the regulars like Carlson and O'Neill, but they're a team effort. This team, they have stuff. They have good chemistry. Paul Goldschmidt, he's criminally underrated. This guy he has a 1.417 OPS. Seriously, he's only had 3 at-bats, but in those 3 at-bats, he's came through all the way. It's all about the Paul Goldschmidt from a show, baby. They just know how to work their lineups, and pitching wise, Miles Mikolas, another Cy Young contender, 1.96 ERA. 0.98 whip. My goodness. Adam Wainwright, he has a 2.87 ERA. That's fantastic right there. Really dialing in. You got Your other starters like Dakota Wilson, 3.60, not too shabby at all. Um, I have I I have a lot of hopes for this team. They sneaked their way to a wild card last year, and you just can't count them out. You got a good job for them. Cubs are 9 games back. Pirates 9.5. The Reds are going to red as usual. But yeah, I think it's a 2-horse race at this point, and really 3.5 games is not that much. It could be gone just like that. So, a much more interesting NL Central than we all thought it would be.
Yes, it is. It's that is really looks like it's going to be a division that continues to duel between the Brewers and the Cardinals, all the way down to the end of the regular season at the end of
Yes.
September. And there's a lot of star power between those two teams, and it's just going to make it that much more interesting to watch. So I look forward to this NL Central, race continuing to unfold. And with that in mind, we're also going to head even further out west now, back to the American League, to a division where there's an even more interesting race that is I feel like is continuing to unfold right now. And so yes, the AL West right now with the Houston Astros right now currently leading the way at 28-16 on the year, 6-4 in their last 10 games. Then the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim on a 3-game win streak, 5-5 in their last 10 games. This is just kind of the time of year where you can back me up with this belief, whether you share it or not, Barrett. But if it feels like this is the time of the year where the Astros just do a lot of things well and consistent and right, but they fly under the radar playing really good baseball, like kind of starting in this year
Yeah.
throughout the summer. And then it's like we all kind of like wake up out of our haze once September hits, and and we're reminded, oh wait, the Astros are right there and they're for real.
Yeah. I think that's a good way of describing it. I watch them all the time, so I'm aware of how awesome they are. Um, it's Their pitching continues to be really, really solid. Their runs allowed is extremely impressive when compared to the rest of the league. Even it's one of the best in all of baseball. It's all about their bats. Bats get hot, bats get cold. I think they're undefeated when they institute the death lineup. The death lineup is a particular lineup in which you have all the main starters in, and they, I think, are still undefeated when they have that death lineup up at the up in fruition. So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Jeremy Pena. Yeah, Jeremy Pena is a rookie of the year front runner. He's got one of the best WARs in baseball. Period. Not just rookies. Yeah, they just continued. The golden years are still alive.
yeah, no, it's interesting when you look at their offense statistics right now, and it does kind of tell the story of. It seems like this is a great team for pushing runs across with power and just really like smacking it and truly swinging for the fences here. But like situational kind of situational batting, base running, things like that. It can be more of an adventure at times for this team. You're looking at just the 231 batting average overall for this team,
Mm-hmm.
308 on base percentage, which is really kind of smack dab in the middle of Major League Baseball at 17th right now. So I mean, those aren't giant glaring concerns because there is the power on this team
Oh
kind of
yeah.
across the lineup to be able to carry them this way. But it is something. It's like you don't want to see kind of trends emerge where you have trouble just getting guys on base or being able to push across runs with singles and things like that come the postseason, because that's the type of situation where it's like it doesn't take much for you to be put on upset alert there and possibly get knocked out of the postseason early. But yeah, just still seems to be a lot to like with this Astros team right now. Like you said, pitching continues to be the Justin Verlander show, leading the way amongst all starters right
Oh
now.
yeah.
122 ERA, 6 wins, credited to him, 49
Jeez.
strikeouts on the year. This man is almost 40 years old, or is he 40? Is he 40 yet? I forget.
He's 39.
Okay, yeah. So he is almost 40. Yeah, almost 40, and is still like it seems like he's getting better at baseball as he gets older. It's
Bye
like,
bye, baby.
yeah, like this is like as a Dallas Stars fan, this is like watching Joe Pavelski this year, who's in his late 30s and is getting better
Yeah.
at hockey. Like there's these rare athletes that like they hit this point like even like considerably past their prime where maybe they're not like the spark out of a cannon kind of like that they used to be, but it's just like they're so fundamentally sound and they're playing the game better than they ever have. And I feel like that fits Justin Verlander here to an absolute T. And yeah,
Yeah.
so there's a lot to like with this Astros team right now. And then the Angels right there, just one game behind. There,
Mhm.
it's this is a team continues to just look like a team that we've got to take seriously. Whether they win the division or they get in as a wild card, either of those things are possible. And there's probably like at this point a 70% chance at least right now this team is going to be playing postseason baseball and probably like really meaningful postseason baseball for the first time in a long time out there in Orange County. So you've got Anthony Rendon right now with a pretty nice slash line for the third baseman of 239, 333, and 408. Taylor Ward, the right fielder, has 9 home runs on the year and also is leading this team in RBIs as well at 23 and is batting 370 on the year. Yeah, we talked about the stats in terms of what this team looks like offensively and defensively pitching last week, and not much has changed. 4th overall in runs right now in Major League Baseball, 7th in batting average, 8th in on-base percentage, leading the league in slugging. Pitching, the really only one weakness is just in terms of quality starts. Once again, they're one of these teams that has no quality starts that are attached to their name. My microphone almost fell over. That's first party foul.
Yes. Oh, so many party fouls.
And but there's a lot of, it seems to be like they've got pretty good bullpen depth here that's helping out this team. I mean, certainly they're closing out games. They've got the nice run differential as well that's going out with closing this game plus 53 on the year, one of the best in the American League, the second best to the Yankees there. So I mean, that's a sign. They're getting out into these big leads. They're keeping them there. They can take. They've got depth there in their bullpen to be able to work through guys, close things out. Not having these close wins kind of squeaked out down to the wire by giving up runs towards the end. This is a man. This Angels team is not. They're not playing baseball like. They're not playing baseball like the Rays exactly, but it's kind of almost like they're like the adjacent spirit to the Rays here in terms of, they've got a lot of money locked up and some select guys here. They've done their best in terms of like really building through the farm system and taking care of things through trades and things like that to get the best players possible that they can out there to Orange County. And it's paying off. They've got a team that just gels really well together, plays good cohesive baseball, and it's paying off for them this year. So the A's continue to have to be taken seriously. I don't think this is like a fluky team. I don't think they're not playing some sort of gimmicky game or gaming the system or taking really advantage of anything. They're in a good AL West. They're in a good American League Conference. They're winning meaningful games. They're playing good baseball right now. This is going to it'll continue to be a duking out between them and the Astros all the way down to the end of the regular season.
Yep, 2-horse race there. I'm really disappointed in the Mariners. They're 10.5 games back, last in the division. And everyone thought this year was going to be the year where they finally made the postseason. They still can, technically, but they are just off to an extremely rough start. Their pitching is non-existent. Offensively, fantastic. I wouldn't say fantastic. It's pretty decent. But the pitching, I mean, come on, where the heck are you guys? You're not doing your team any favors. Rangers pitching is starting to dial in. I mean, there's definitely teams that are worse. And
it's just the offense that is kind of asleep for the most part. It's the inverse of what we all expected.
I know.
This year for this team.
Yeah, I mean the pitching's not lights out, but it's keeping them in it, you know. So, but man, the Angels, it's got to be one of the biggest stories of the year. Is this the Angels are this year what the Giants were last year, a team that nobody counted on, and yet they're fantastic. The third best run scored in all of Major League Baseball. Their pitching is there, and it's man, it's I thought the Astros were just gonna run away with it like they always do, but it's always more fun when it's a challenge. I personally like it when it's a Lone Star one, two horse race, but until the Rangers can get their act together, I guess we'll duke it out with the Orange County Bros. So we'll see. Finally, last division, NL West. Let's talk about these Dodgers guys. They have the best run differential, 101. That's incredible. They've won 8 out of their last 10 games. They're 1.5 games ahead of the Padres, which we'll get to the Padres in a sec. But I mean, come on. It's just they're the best. They have the best runs scored and the best runs allowed. They have the best everything, really. It's just you cannot take them for granted anymore. It's just they're so deep. They're way too deep. Trey Turner, 778 OPS. Freddie Freeman, 849 OPS. Let's talk about Mookie Betts. This man is on an absolute tear. Between opening day, April 8th, and April 20th, he hit 0 home runs. Guess how many home runs he hit from April 21st to May 24th? He hit 12 home runs in the course of a month. That is over a 70 home run streak. I mean, that's a 70 home run pace for a year. This guy is tied for second in home runs in Major League Baseball after not hitting a single home run in the first, basically, 2.5 weeks. So this guy, he's turning it on. He's slashing 290, 383, 574, 957 OPS. 2.4 wins above replacement. He is reasserting himself as one of the best players in baseball. You look at Cody Bellinger, he's not too shabby either. 692 OPS. The guy's got 5 bombs on the year. He's not useless. Justin Turner, it's talk about useless. This guy is. Justin Turner has a 0.4 wins above replacement. You know what that means? He's flirting with getting, replaced. That's when you have a negative WAR. So, but I mean, they have plenty of guys to make up for it. I mean, come on, Gavin Lux, 671 OPS, Will Smith, 776 OPS, and a short fuse. But yes, trying to get it. He's going to live with those jokes for the rest of his life. But anyway, Chris Taylor is the Mr. 7066. He's Mr. Utility Man himself. Pitching wise, you want to talk about fine wine? Walker Buehler, or shall I say, Clayton Kershaw, 180 ERA. People, he's not pitching a lot of innings, but a 180 ERA, 0.73 WHIP. That's amazing. It's fantastic. We talk about Urias, 249 ERA, Buehler, 291, and Tyler Anderson, 330. You got Gosnell, 162. These are all fantastic. They're so stacked. They're so deep, and they would easily run away with it. But it's the San Diego Padres who are doing all of this, mind you, without Fernando Tatis Jr. And they have one guy on their team, Manny flippin' Machado. This guy, I can't see anyone else winning the MVP at this point. I mean, yeah, I picked Soto just because Soto, I mean, he's going to win it at some point, but this is probably not his year. It's all about Manny flippin' Machado. These are video game numbers. 361 batting average. Again, I'll repeat that. 361 batting average. This guy's basically played every single game. That batting average is stupid. It's like he's the no doubter playing. He's living the no doubter way. He's on his way to living the no doubter way. He has 8 bombs on the year, 437 on base percentage, 590 slugging with 1.027 OPS, 3.2 wins above replacement. I mean, you just got to throw your hands up in the air and just say, I mean, is this guy on roids or something? I don't know what to do. I mean, you're in good hands. This guy's carrying your team on his flipping bat. Eric Hosmer, again, 843 OPS, 325 batting average. I mean, come on. He listened to the pod, and we all know it. He does. Do not disrespect me. Jurickson Profar, 701 OPS. I mean, you got Cronenworth, 633 OPS. You got the firepower, but Machado is just leaps and bounds. He has a 3.2 wins above replacement. That's in a league of its own, guys. I mean, he's going to win it. I mean, I just don't see how anyone else can unless he just is ineffective. Joe Musgrove, the hometown kid, 190 ERA. Let that sink in. He's your ace. He's throwing a lot of innings, too. Yu Darvish is throwing a lot of innings, but he's got a 376 ERA. It needs to get a little better, but I believe it will. Mackenzie Gore, 206 ERA. Sean Manaea, 404. Yeah, they stole him from the A's, and he needs to get better. But just look at the Padres overall. It's just, I mean, last year they kind of fell off. They didn't even make the playoffs, but they're 1.5 games back, guys. You got to take them seriously. 7 out of their last 10 games. And then the 3-horse race continues. The Giants starting to crawl back up a little bit. I still have faith in this team. Their pitching is the bane of their existence at this point. Offense, phenomenal. Pitching, I mean, despite the fact that they have Carlos Rodon, it's not working out for them. Rodon, 343 ERA. Alex Wood, 482. Cobb, 625. I mean, guys, this isn't going to cut it. I mean, you're not settling in. You're not being elite like you were last year. I mean, DeSclafani, 608 ERA, that's not going to do it. But I mean, offensively, I mean, this team's one of the best. I mean, they got a 223 runs scored. That's the second best in the entire National League. So, I mean, you look at their offense, it's all about Jocktober, baby. Jocktober, he brings the fun wherever he goes, apparently. The guy's got a 936 OPS, guys. It's insane. Mike Yastrzemski doing his grandfather proud, 909 OPS. Jock Peterson's got 11 bombs on the year. My goodness. It's just, they got a lot of depth, this team does. Darren Ruff, 691 OPS. Wilmer Flores, 746. Estrada's got a 694. They make it happen. It doesn't matter if it's small ball, nothing. Gabe Kapler's the man. And the West continues to be, it is the most competitive division in baseball right now. And it just continues to be amazing. Before I end this segment, I want to give a quick shout out to the Diamondbacks.
Rocking that fun differential now, just above 500, but negative runs.
True, but they also have Brent Strom. Brent Strom, he's starting to work his magic. And granted, it might take a while, but I mean, you look at Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen has a 2.22 ERA, 0.83 WHIP. This guy is just a marvelous stud on the mound. You got Mad Bum, 2.76 ERA. My goodness. Brent Strom, give him time. He's happy that he's closer to home. It's just, I know they're 7 games back, but I mean, just got to give him the love. Get some offensive firepower there, and you might be able to amount to something. But there you go. That's it. All the divisions. It's a lot going on, and we're gonna end off this show with the updated no doubter rankings. Now, granted, we did make this on Tuesday when we were about to go on, so it's a day behind. But we're gonna stick to our guns. We're not gonna not do it. So,
I mean, I'm looking at this list and I don't see anything that's wildly off.
Yeah, I mean, coming in at number 10, the Rays. You have to give them credit. The Rays are the Rays, and they're in striking distance of the Yankees. So we have to put them in. We got to give them the credit they deserve. Cardinals going up a slot. They're the number 9 team. They just continue to stay in the fight. The Brewers, however, they're still at the number 8 position, best in the Central National League. The Twins, as Travis talked about, they are heating up. That's why they've moved on up to the number 7 position, going up 2 slots. I mean, they continue to mash over there. The Twin Cities, they're rocking. They got their Correa jerseys and they're having themselves a good time. Astros continue to win, beating up on the Rangers 3 out of 4 games. That definitely helps, but they're the number 6 team. They continue to do well. Angels starting to do a little, just slightly. I mean, it's not terrible. I know they're on a 3-game win streak now, but I mean, they did move down 2 spots. It's because they're the number 5 position. It just means that these top 4 teams, these are the teams, guys. Padres, number 4. Again, Manny Machado. He's a one-hit wonder. Well, he's not. That's the wrong term. He's carrying the team on his back. Dodgers going up at number 3. And number 1 and 2, it's all New York, New York, New York. We have the Yankees in the number 2 spot, but the Mets, number 1. Now, it made more sense when I did it on Tuesday. No, the Yankees are the first team to 30 wins, but we're gonna give it to the Mets anyway. We're doing it. It's too late to turn back. Mets are your number 1 team, and followed by the Yankees. And the entire state of New York still is not hopping on the baseball bandwagon because they don't care. Unless they do, they will come out of the woodwork and they will go and they will just, I don't know, make fools of themselves in the stands. The hedge fund managers, their sons are going to games again. Oh, man. But there you go, man. This was fun. I'm glad we could do it. This is just a special circumstances this week, but baseball is still there with us. It's been there for us in the toughest of times, but it lives on. There are more important things though. So, hold on to your loved ones hard. Tell them I love you, and I mean, got to keep it in perspective. So we are still thankful for baseball. So thank y'all so much for joining us. Thank y'all for listening, tuning in. We really appreciate it. Subscribe to No Doubter wherever you listen to this podcast so you don't miss out on future episodes every single week. Leave us a 5-star review. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow the pod at No Doubter Pod. You can follow me at BoomBoss21. Travis at Travis Softly. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see our beautiful faces, especially in the pour and score ones, because you get to see how to describe the drinks that we are drinking. Interviews is also fun. You get to see the person we're interviewing. Just look up No Doubter Pod. The link's in the description below. If you've been listening to us consistently, we really do appreciate it if you would consider joining our Patreon. You get perks. The more you give, the more you get. $2, $5, $10, whatever you want to give. It really helps us out. It helps us recoup our costs for the show. Want to give a shout out to our longest standing patron, Tad Bostic, and Patreon producer, Don Hale. Thank you for joining the show, Don Hale. You are always welcome. You two help make this show possible, and we really appreciate it. Check out our merch store. You can get mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, baseball shirts, phone cases, anything and everything you can ever want. It's all there. All the links in the description below. Check it out, guys. We love doing this show. We love y'all. T-Bone, let's do it.
Friends, right now, the pinnacle of success in baseball is coming from a New York state of mind.
Yeah.
The Yankees and the Mets, they're on top of the world right now, respectively. In their Eastern divisions of the American League and National League, respectively. And they're full of offensive firepower and guys that are aiming for the No Doubter mantra of batting .400 and swinging for the fences all